Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Crosscurrent. Today I'm giving you a beginner's guide to Beached. Now, Beached has been out for about a month or two on Steam, and it's decently fun, but unfortunately, the community is small. Now, this game is survival, and it has just a lot of those mechanics within it, similar to Conan Exiles, but much more like Valheim in the way that the graphics are, and very, very similar to the graphics of Muck. People even thought that this game was a copy. It is nothing like Muck. But I'm going to go over everything in the main screen, then I'm going to hop in the game. I'm going to show you what to expect and what to learn and progress throughout. Now, also, I do have a cold. I'm sorry if you can hear it in my voice. I hope to be done with that soon, but I really got to make a video. I hope this helps you out. If you like my content, please be sure to drop a like. If you like my content, also consider subscribing. And comment below if you have a question about this game in particular, or anything else in another game you would like to see. So to start off, play, you obviously hit play game. Uh, the friends have been messing up when you want to join in friends games with them, so I wouldn't mess with that if I were you. I'm assuming the best way to figure that out is to open up Steam and try to invite people that way by right-clicking on their names. But a lot of people have been struggling with that, so I'd be sure to check their Discord up here so you can get help as quickly as possible. Community servers and official servers, I don't mess with that too much because it's a little glitchy. If you save the game on your own server, then it seems players can't join in for whatever reason after that. So join with a group of friends, same server, same time, and see how that works for you. Item store, you can buy cosmetics. That's all that they have right now, and I'm not sure if you'd want to do that with how low population the game is right now. Inventory has been glitching out since I've been playing this for a month, and nothing has popped up the entire time. News will tell you about all the updates that are happening. They said they're going to make an update a couple weeks ago, and they still have not. Hopefully, that'll be done soon, and hopefully, it will be well polished since it's taking them such a long time. You can go to the shooting range to fight opponents, AIs. You can also make them fight you back. Just testing out the weaponry. I wouldn't really do this. It's not that difficult to figure out what weapons do what. In the settings, unfortunately, there's not a way to turn up or down your mouse sensitivity, which means you're going to have to deal with the fact the mouse is extremely sensitive in this game, but everything else seems to be pretty normal. I would go to graphics just to make sure that the window mode is of your liking, because sometimes that doesn't work properly. Alright, so let's hop into a game real quick. If you have a game that's saved, you'll want to go to load game, and then choose that. I'm going to start from scratch though. If you continue game, it would go to a game that was most recently played and saved. Alright, so here you are on the first island, and you'll see on the right side that there's starting out quests. These quests give you absolutely nothing, and unfortunately, they don't tell you how to actually progress throughout them. So collecting stones is also a little bit tough because they look just about the same size as everything else. You cannot mine these stones in the game. You can only mine these stones over here, and these will give you iron, flint, and stone. That seems to be the only thing you can mine within the game. To go to crafting, I hit tab and it goes there. To close, you do not hit escape because it'll pop up a menu instead. You're going to have to hit tab again. That gets a little bit annoying. Red sharp stone. Next challenge pops up, gathering wood and stone. This is like Rust where you have to just make do with a stone for a little bit. This will respawn relatively quickly within an hour. It should respawn. And I'm going to need fibers as well. To get fibers, you're going to have to pick up flowers. You're going to have to find bunches of grass. Like this. This grass, that'll give you fibers. A lot of these plants look like you can pick them up, but you can't, and it doesn't tell you which plants you can pick up and which plants you cannot. But once you get that, I'm going to make 2 cloth. I know this doesn't go with the quest, but you're going to want to have that stuff so you can go through the quest quicker, get out of the way. It relatively does help you to actually get these quests done sooner rather than later. Swimming this game is a bit of a pain, so I'd suggest if something drops in the water, just let it go. Yeah, it's pretty glitchy. It doesn't actually let you go down. Don't mess with it. Now, in this game, flint is only really used for making arrows and making the furnace. The furnace is the most important part of them, so don't overstock on that. When you see a tree like this, these trees will drop you apples. Apples are possibly the best food in the game because they do not spoil, and they offer both water and health. These other things will spoil within 300 seconds, whether it be coconuts, or crab meat, or other meat, whether it's cooked or not. Even if you put it inside a fridge or anything, it'll still spoil at the same rate, which is extremely strange. Most games are not like that. Now, whenever you do destroy something in the game, like a tree, you'll get experience. You'll see right here that right now I'm 74 out of 1,000. When you go down the characteristics, each time you level up, you get more bonuses that you put into these. As now I'm 80 out of 1,000. The quickest way to level up is to find the AI camps. When you find those camps, like that one over there, just kill everything you can. You can craft something called Books of Knowledge, which will give you 500 experience per in a research table, but that's very late game. That's normally something you do if you have no one else on your server, or if you intend to invite people to your server later. Otherwise, you're just grinding the game without much purpose. Now, when it says to collect raw crab meat, you just look along the beach side. I already have 4, so I'm good on that. But you just look for crabs, you press E on them, and that technically kills them and puts the meat into your inventory. Cooking this game is pretty simple. Press E on the campfire to open the inventory. Move the meat inside there and some firewood. Start the fire. To eat something, you just put it in your inventory. Make sure you choose the hotbar numbers. Like right now, I had on 5. Press 5 and then just click. And it'll just show an animation of you putting your hand up in your face and you'll be eating the food. When it comes to weapons in the game, there's not a lot of good weapons you can make without the furnace, and the AIs will hit you extremely well. So I suggest a wooden spear. You get a little bit of range out of it with a 3-swing thrust. The huge club seems like it'd be good because it's such a huge club, but you don't get the attack off very much because when you attack enemies, if they hit you once, it cancels your entire swing, and a lot of times enemies can just start essentially going to a flurry of about 10 swings in a very short period of time, and you'll find yourself dead. Yeah. Every single attack here at least gives you some range. Most of the time they'll block the first or second attack, but you get the third attack in. I'll show you that in combat in a little bit. Well, so this seems to be a pretty recurring glitch in the game where you get stuck by the trunk of a tree when you're picking up stuff. Just chop down the stump so you can move. When you have stuff in your hotbar and you grab more of the same thing, it will not move it into your hotbar. You have to do that by yourself by either right-clicking or moving it over yourself. If you want to split something, you just hold shift and it'll split it. Hold shift and drag. With some wildlife, you should be careful. Wildlife isn't extremely strong in this game, especially if you have either a spear or some kind of ranged equipment, but you don't always want to fight them. The meat you get from it is really not that much more powerful than anything else when it comes to giving you more healing. Well, when it comes to giving you more health, more energy, more hunger, or water. Crates like this are typically good when you find them without the map. Throughout the map, you will be able to just get some free resources. Typically, you'll find a lot of those, though, in the AI camps. Now, right now, it's telling me to craft building materials, building stuff, like the building plan and the mallet. At this point, I want to get extremely close to the AI camp because, especially if there aren't players around, I don't want to run back and forth very far. I want to have something that I can quickly go to. The AIs won't attack your base when you're sleeping or anything, like Savage Lands or any games similar. So just make sure that you have it close to whatever you want to do the most, which should be getting the most experience and getting the most loot, so then the game is much simpler. Now, unless the game updated without telling everybody, there are only 2 AI camps within the entire map. There is this, which is like the Forgotten Temple or Kingdom of some sort. And then over there somewhere above the mountaintop, well, over the mountains, they have an area where it looks like a lost village. Lost Village seems to have more stuff, but it's also much further away, which will take much more time. The loot from these camps, when you take them out, it respawns relatively fast, about as fast as the rocks, which is within an hours of time, within 1 hour of time. So I would suggest just stay and go for one area constantly over and over again. And that's also a good way to find PvP, as well as getting guns. You can get guns from there without even having to make it, which is amazing, phenomenal. You get gold, which unfortunately gold does not have a purpose in the game right now. They're trying to implement that in the future. And you also realize with some of the things that you can craft within your building, it'll require like salt or sugar or something like that. There is currently no way to obtain those. So you're going to make sure that you're just playing the game and doing what you can to level up and get better gear. Now, I'm not sure if this will go back down to 0 when I level up, because this is from my character that was level 10, roughly. Typically, you start at 0 for everything. So if it does carry over, that's fantastic and it's unique and I like it, but I have no reason to believe that that's the case. Now, the mallet is extremely helpful. Since building is a little wonky in this game, similar to those who have struggled with Valheim, the mallet is what you use to upgrade, remove, or rotate a building that you have placed. Also, to make buildings, you're going to have to equip and select on the hotbar your building plan. You right click and it gives you all the options for what you can make. Of course, it's different for everything. You just hover over which one you choose. We'll make a 2x2. Just keep it simple. Since I'm going to come from that side a lot, I'll make sure that my ramp can build up. For some reasons, the ramps don't always work properly. And I suggest only having one door because you're going to make sure that your doors are locked in case players do join. I'll go in greater detail how the locking works in this game because it is different than most games you will play. To rotate, you just scroll. So you have the options to finish the building as you please. And unfortunately, to make the door, you're gonna have to press tab and scroll down to find to find that. Go to your inventory, equip it, place it down. Now you're gonna make a simple lock. And I'm not sure if you need the key for this anymore. I know before it seemed to require a key so you could get inside. But now they have a lock. I put over the door. And then go straight to lock and it'll say try lock on the left side of my screen. And I'll hit E. It'll be locked. Now I might need the key to actually lock the door, because right now it seems to be completely unlocked. Normally you'll have to hover over the try lock and you'll have to set it to a 4-digit code. I then suggest not changing it unless you're streaming, so then people don't learn exactly how to get in, but you can still get into your house. Otherwise, you have to break down a wall, which takes a lot more time than you would hope it to. Now, if you played other survival games, you're probably very familiar with claiming land. The totem is used for that. Try to put it someplace hidden. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have much time to do that since I'm giving you guys this guide. But when they destroy that, people can then build around your building, either encompassing it or getting to the top and breaking through the roof, which is probably simpler, or other shenanigans that you probably wouldn't want to have happen. To use a mallet now, since I want to remove this door, I hold right click and I have the option to destroy. Rotate does not seem to work half the time in this game. I can upgrade normally, but I cannot upgrade because I would need planks, which are a special type of wood that you have to upgrade using the workbench. So at this point in the game, I really do not need to get more of those leaf palms. It's good to make sure you only get what you need because the inventory space is lacking. Now, if you do create a leather jacket, you will give yourself some more slots to use. I would suggest that because the player base being so small, you're more want to gather as much resources and loot as you can, as opposed to having that extra survivability that really isn't necessary. Now, when it comes to leveling up, I would suggest going all into strength, Agility does not seem to help us much. The armor, I haven't noticed it to be extremely helpful in this game. Stamina can be helpful as well to get extra health and health regeneration, so strength and stamina are ideal. Intelligence, I haven't noticed a big difference when I actually am mining stuff, so this will be quicker if you're just trying to make a lot of buildings or whatever the heck, and you have a very populated server. Luck will give you a better chance of getting criticals, but I have noticed that the critical damage isn't really necessary since using a basic assault rifle, which is extremely easy to find within the loot camps, will do almost 150, will do typically 150 damage straight to the head with one shot. Yeah, that's, I don't really need the critical if I've got that much health and it can one tap me with one shot. Now, if you're trying to place stuff down like this, the building plan can get in the way. If you press Q twice, it'll give you a different perspective to look at the game. I suggest doing that just so you don't waste space, especially if you're using a small house. The bed is used for respawning, and the chest is used for storage. Fuel you won't need for a long time, charcoal you won't need for a while, palm leaves again you only need for the roof. Flowers used in alchemy, which won't be needed for a while. The red flowers are nicer because they give you health instead of stamina, and that's always something you want to have. Putting food items in the chest will not make it last longer. Unlike most games, this game, it does not change in the slightest. If you do make a key, make sure you don't leave your key inside here because if someone breaks in, they can just make a wall leave. You'll have no idea, and they'll be able to constantly walk in and take your loot whenever they want. So to get sand, which you need for this next quest, you equip the shovel and just dig and dig and dig. You can also get clay from there, so just keep digging until you get roughly the amount that you'll need, and then pick it all up. So now I need to make a furnace. Furnace is extremely important in this game. Which is why flint is so important to find. So having those rocks nearby that I was talking about earlier, like these rocks, especially since it's right here, phenomenal. It'll save you a lot of time and energy, especially since you're going to want to make a lot of iron down the road. Stones are almost always useful as well for upgrading your building to make it look a little bit better, as well as be more sustainable when people are trying to take it out. Nighttime does not change much within this game. It seems to be roughly the same type of stuff. You will need, however, to have some sort of light within your building. Now, when you craft the metal hatchet and metal pick, that seems to last an extremely long time, so you should not have to worry about it for quite a while afterwards. Now, once you craft stuff here, it will keep it inside the inventory of the station you just used. Alright, so now it says I have to collect glass. To make glass, I need to put sand into the furnace. I didn't know about this because I didn't play games like Minecraft. Okay, so let's enter the Fallen Fortress. It'll always give you a pop-up at the top of the screen to let you know when you're about to enter an AI camp. Stay worry about it. But yeah, now that I have the metal pick and the metal hatchet, mining and chopping will be a lot quicker. I believe with chopping, instead of taking 7 swings, it takes 4 swings. Yep. Big difference. Definitely helpful. Might even want to make extras, especially if you know players are going to try to attack you within this game. Jars are used mainly for alchemy or making potions, as well as being used to find a well, which there is one in there, and get jars of water. Since you can tell on the bottom right, I'm struggling with hydration. This can be extremely helpful. Rum can help with that. Grog can help with that. Some food can help a little bit, but not as much as actually drinking something. Looks like the game wants me to get some water jars, so I'm going to drop just about everything inside the loot bin, even the food. Well, except for the apples, I might as well leave that out, just because I might need it after I get some fights in. Alright, so when you come to this camp, there's going to be 2 skeletons right there. The best thing you can try to do is try to aggro one of them. They're aggroed when they do that little slit across their throat. And the AIs are pretty brutal in this game. Like that swing is when you want to back that up. or it's gonna hurt. Pick this up. They have some decent loot, some gold. That means nothing. Ancient knowledge. You use this to make the experience books I was talking about earlier. Got some wrong. Water jar. The hat doesn't really matter. I just pick it up for the memes. To block, hold right click. The eyes will do it much better than you. Trust me. The eyes are just phenomenal at blocking for some reason. And also, their weapons are not good against them. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they'll swing on forever and it's gonna stink. Bananas will spoil for some reason, and apples won't, so might as well keep eating bananas to get that extra health. You'll find a lot of those within these loot boxes. Alright, so when you come up here, look inside this small area. It's a chest. Boom, you got AR already. Right off the bat. Popping. Already, the entire game changes and becomes a lot easier. As you see, that's a lot of damage early on in the game. That should not be that powerful. Okay, so the gold plates, what you use with this is you'll grab this and you'll put it in the furnace to make gold bars. Gold bars are extremely helpful within this game, so definitely make sure that you pick those up. Alright, so I made it here. Let's make water. We got 5 jars, make 5 of those. Sulfur is used to make ammo for weapons. Blunderbuss is debatably the best weapon within this game. I would think it to be better for PvP than against the AIs, but it's still pretty darn good. Alright, so that just about does it on this file. I'm going to load up my other game and show you exactly what everything else in the game will do, just so you know what to make and when to do it, so you can better prepare for when you make your own game. Alright everyone, so this is the main game that I have. Now, unfortunately, for whatever reason, the people who made this game decided, hey, let's randomly have your doors locked and change the code to it. So now I cannot get into my own freaking house. Unfortunately, this is going to take an extremely long time. So, I could also have just done that. That makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to have to place down a new door, but this is my abode. You can make it look pretty nice. You can get a decent number of people to fit within one building, and have every single weapon just in case there's something you want to know. So the jacket is nice though because you get an extra 6 slots of inventory space, which is extremely helpful. You're going to want to have probably the workbench on 2 separate levels, especially if you're going to work on a different level to make things. The dummy, it's mainly used just to test the damage of the weapons you use. You can make mashed right here, which will be used to make alcoholic beverages as well as other beverages. That's what mainly the cauldron will be used for. You can also make fuel, which requires you to have spoiled items. So don't get rid of all that crap. If you are planning on making fuel for certain items, just keep it stored somewhere. The compost bin I haven't found much of a use for. I thought maybe it'd make things decay quicker. It actually didn't change the timing at all when it said it would. I don't know what's up with that. So for the research table, come over here. Do you have ancient knowledge, which I had multiple of that from the last camp I was at? Use 3 of it to make those books to give me 500 experience. Now, you're going to want to do that instead of making scrolls of knowledge because one will only give you 100 experience. The fridge doesn't seem to help with anything at all. It does not make things last longer, even though you think it would. And the mortar over here is used just like the grindstone, millstone, whatever you want to call it, to help make preparable items for the drinks you're trying to make in the cauldron. Like the red drink requires shredded red flowers. You can use either of those. I don't know why they do the exact same thing or why you're required to have different ones, but if you know, let me know in chat so I can let everyone else know. But yeah, this game does have a great chance of improving down the road. Hopefully they will. I have my doubts at the moment with how few and far between their updates are, and that there's a lot of items that are supposed to be in the game that just are not. Hopefully the devs will listen to this and be able to improve the game better. Now, if you guys enjoyed my video, please consider liking the video. If you like my content, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed. It's free. And if you have any comments or concerns about this game or another game that you want to see content for, comment below. As always, guys, I'll see you next time.